I'm standing at the top of the stairs in the Foundling Museum. These were the actual stairs that Hetty Feather wandered up and down in. I can imagine her drifting past me. For the first 5 years of her life, she didn't actually live in the hospital. She was fostered out. She adored her foster brother Jem, and one magical day, he took her to the circus. Then the band struck up, and the clowns capered back into the ring. I fidgeted in my seat, breathless with anticipation. I saw a gentleman throwing daggers at a lady in sparkly drawers, a troop of seals barking for fish, and a man eating fire as casually as we'd eaten our gingerbread. But I was still restless and unsatisfied. But then, right at the end, the ringmaster cracked his whip and announced, "Now, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, Tanglefield's travelling circus is proud to present Madame Adeline and her troupe of rosinback performing horses." I sat up straight as 6 sleek horses cantered into the ring. I was used to Dobbin and Rowley, the great shire horses in Father's care at the farm. These dancing, prancing horses seemed an elvish breed, so small and dainty. 2 were spotted, 2 piebald, and 2 grey, all with their manes and tails flowing, long and silky. Madame Adeline sat on the first grey, which was almost pure white, but with a saucy black patch on one eye, so that he looked as wicked as a pirate. He arched his neck and stepped precisely in time with the music, clearly proud to have Madame Adeline on his back. She looked so beautiful in her pink spangles and short frilly skirt, her flame-coloured hair piled on her head, a black ribbon round her slim white neck. She stood up on the back of the pirate horse, straight and proud, arms high in the air, never faltering. She smiled at our applause and called something to the other grey horse. He galloped faster and faster. As he drew alongside, Madame Adeline leapt from one horse's back to the other, landing with fairy lightness. She swung herself down till her toes touched the sawdust, then up over the side of the horse. She even stood on her hands while he cantered. I watched her open-mouthed, marvelling. Madame Adeline jumped through a hoop and landed lightly back on the pirate horse, as easily as if she was skipping down the village lane. I clapped until my hands were sore. She slowed to a trot, still standing, waving at all of us. I waved back wildly, desperate for her to see me. "Hello, children," she called. I piped hello back, standing up in my seat. "Who would like to come and ride with me?" she said. I didn't wait for a second. I hurtled out of my seat. Jem tried to catch hold of me by the hem of my dress, but I whisked it away and rushed frantically for the ring. There were already children right at the front, hopping eagerly over the little red wall into the circus ring. Madame Adeline was laughing and pointing, picking her rider. No, pick me!" I screamed, still running. I tried to jump down the steep wooden steps, lost my footing, and hurtled forward, tumbling head over heels. "Oh my, here's a little acrobat," said Madame Adeline, as I lay with my face in the sawdust, totally dazed. I felt her strong hands lifting me up. I stood there trembling. She was even more beautiful close up. Her hair was bright red, her face powdery white, though her cheeks were a delicate pink, and her lips thrillingly dark and shiny. I looked up at her and fell totally in love. "Are you all right, little one?" she asked softly, as if we were alone together, not watched by an audience of hundreds. "I am. Oh yes, I definitely am," I said, tossing my hair out of my eyes. "You have lovely red hair, just like mine," she said, laughing.
Sorry, was it not from Are You All Right?
Okay, sorry. "Are you all right, little one?" she asked softly, as if we were alone together, not watched by an audience of hundreds. "I am. Oh yes, I definitely am," I said, tossing my hair out of my eyes. You have lovely red hair, just like mine, she said, laughing. What's your name, child? I'm Hetty Feather, ma'am, I whispered. How old are you, Hetty? You speak up very nicely, yet you can't be more than 4. I'm 5 3/4, ma'am, just small for my age, I said. And you want to ride my horse with me, little Hetty? More than anything. She laughed again, her teeth white and perfect, her lips gleaming. Then so be it, little star, she said, touching the gingerbread star still stuck to my forehead. She lifted me up, 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 and I found myself sitting on the smooth, hot back of her horse. She swung herself up behind me, gave a little clucking sound, and the horse started trotting slowly round the ring. I heard loud clapping all round the circus. Oh, my word, they were clapping me. I stopped clutching the horse's beautiful white mane and waved one hand in the air in acknowledgement. Madame Adeline chuckled. You're a real showman. All right, little star, let's perform a few tricks for your audience. She clucked again, and our horse started cantering. She held me tightly round the waist, but I wasn't a bit scared. I dug in with my knees and arched my back to keep my balance. I heard Madame Adeline laughing approvingly. Faster, she murmured. Yes, faster, faster, I said. She clucked, and our pirate horse gathered speed, galloping now, overtaking all the other horses, round and round and round, so fast that all the seats within the tent seemed to be spinning. My breath bumped from my body. I felt as if I was truly flying, though all the time I was safe in Madame Adeline's grasp. I wasn't sure if the roaring in my ears was my own hot blood or the clapping of many hands. At long last, Madame Adeline shouted a command to the horse, and he slowed obediently. Now, your star turn, Madame Adeline murmured into my ear. Do you think you could stand up? I will hold you very safely, I promise. Yes, yes, I said, scrambling clumsily onto my knees. Steady, just stretch upwards. I won't let you go, said Madame Adeline. I stood right up, but then my foot slipped as the horse cantered forward. I thought for a second I'd go tumbling down onto the sawdust, but Madame Adeline held me firm. There now, my star, she whispered. I told you I would hold you safely. I stood still, trying to get my balance, swaying to the left, the right, but after a half circuit of the ring, I started to get the knack of standing with my feet spread, my hands out, my back erect, my whole body moving with the rhythm of the horse. Madame Adeline still held me tight, but I'm absolutely certain I was almost balancing myself. The audience stood up in their seats and clapped, roaring their approval. Then Madame Adeline clucked to the horse to slow right down. She slid off, taking me with her in her arms. Then she set me down gently. Take your bow, little star, she said. We held hands and bowed low, while the clapping sounded louder than 20 brass bands. Madame Adeline bent and gave me a kiss. Well done, my precious child, she said, and then she patted me on the shoulder to send me back to my seat. Oh, Hetty, oh, my Lord Hetty, Jem cried when I found my way back to him. He thumped me on the back. You were brilliant, Hetty. No, I wasn't, Jem, I said modestly, though I wanted to jump up and down and say, yes, I am brilliant. People right along the rows of seats were turning round, craning forward, calling to me, while my neighbours patted me on the back and added their praises. I scarcely paid attention to them. Madame Adeline was standing on the pirate horse, circling the ring, leaping lightly from one horse to another, flying fairy-like across her steeds, waving and bowing. And then she was going, trotting right out of the ring, all 5 horses in step as they followed her. Oh, she's going, I said, jumping to my feet again. It's over. Wait, Hetty, the circus isn't over. Oh, look, it's the clowns again, said Jem, pulling me back down beside him. I didn't care for the clowns. I didn't want to watch the tumbling boys. I didn't even wish to see the great golden jungle lion baring its teeth and snapping sullenly at its trainer. I only wanted to see Madame Adeline, and I fidgeted and fussed. "Behave yourself, Hetty," said Jem sternly, digging me in the ribs. "Sit quietly. You'll see Madame Adeline again at the end." "Will I really?" "If you're a good girl and sit as still as a mouse," said Jem. I tried my best, though I behaved like a very agitated mouse, quivering and sniffing. At last the band struck up, and all the circus artistes trooped back into the ring. Even great Elijah plodded out, trunk waving in the air. My wondrous Madame Adeline came trotting in on the pirate horse. She waved and smiled at everyone, but her head was turning, glancing this way and that. She was looking for someone. Looking for me. I stood right up on my seat and waved both arms in the air like a windmill, shouting, "Madame Adeline! Madame Adeline!" Jem had to hang on to me hard by my dress hem. "Goodbye, little star," Adeline called, kissing her hand and waving just to me. I waved and waved back. Then everyone paraded out of the ring, and the band stopped playing and the audience stopped clapping. Everyone started filing out. Jem pulled at me, but I clung to my seat, not moving until all that was left of the show was an empty tent and dirty sawdust. Then I burst into tears.